The afternoon sun filtered through the oak trees at Willowbrook Park, casting gentle shadows across the playground where children's laughter filled the warm spring air. Jessica Reynolds sat on a nearby bench, watching her 7-year-old daughter Lily swing quietly back and forth, her long brown hair flowing behind her like silk ribbons. At 34, Jessica had built a successful consulting firm that employed over 200 people. She was known for her ability to solve complex problems and communicate with anyone. But the one person she could not reach was the most important one in her world. Lily had not spoken a single word since the traumatic car accident that had claimed her father's life 18 months earlier. Jessica had tried everything. Speech therapists, child psychologists, play therapy, even expensive specialists from other cities. The doctors assured her that there was nothing physically wrong with Lily's ability to speak. The silence was emotional, a protective barrier her daughter had built around the pain that was too big for a child to process. Today, like so many other days, Jessica had brought Lily to the playground hoping that being around other children might encourage her to engage with the world again. But Lily remained in her quiet bubble, participating in activities but never making a sound, communicating only through gentle nods and expressive eyes that seemed older than her years. As Jessica watched, a man approached the swing set with what appeared to be his daughter. He was perhaps in his early 30s, wearing a casual blue shirt and jeans, with the kind of easy confidence that suggested he was comfortable in his own skin. The little girl beside him looked to be about Lily's age, with blonde hair and an infectious smile. "Hi there," the man said to Lily with a warm, friendly voice. "I am Michael, and this is my daughter Emma. Would you mind if Emma used the swing next to you?" Lily looked up at Michael with curious eyes, then glanced at Emma before nodding politely and continuing to swing in her characteristic silence. Emma climbed onto the adjacent swing and began pumping her legs enthusiastically. "I love swings," she announced to no one in particular. "They make me feel like I am flying. Do you like to feel like you are flying too?" Lily smiled slightly, the first genuine expression of joy Jessica had seen on her daughter's face in weeks. Emma's natural chatter and boundless energy seemed to create a bubble of warmth around both girls. Michael pushed Emma gently, then turned his attention to Lily. "That is a beautiful dress you are wearing," he said conversationally. "Pink is my favorite color. Emma's too, even though she is wearing purple today." Jessica found herself leaning forward, amazed by Michael's natural way with children. He spoke to Lily as if her silence was perfectly normal, not something that needed to be fixed or overcome. There was no pressure in his voice, no expectation that she respond. "Daddy," Emma said as she swung higher, "can you teach this girl the secret swing trick you taught me?" Michael grinned at his daughter. "I suppose I could, if she would like to learn. It is a very special technique that makes swinging even more fun." Lily's eyes brightened with interest, and she nodded eagerly. "All right," Michael said, positioning himself where both girls could see him clearly. "The secret is that you have to believe you are not just swinging, you are actually flying through clouds. And when you fly through clouds, you have to make the sound that clouds make." Emma giggled with delight. "Show her, Daddy." Michael took an exaggerated deep breath and began making soft whooshing sounds as he demonstrated the motion of pumping his legs. Whoosh, whoosh, like the wind through the clouds. Emma immediately joined in, making her own whooshing sounds as she swung back and forth. "Whoosh! I am flying through a rainbow cloud." Lily watched this display with growing fascination. Jessica could see her daughter's internal struggle, the desire to participate battling against the walls she had built around her voice. Michael continued his gentle encouragement. "The best part about cloud flying is that every person makes a slightly different sound. Some people whoosh, some people make a gentle humming sound, and some people whisper like the wind. There is no wrong way to be a cloud flyer." Jessica held her breath as she watched Lily's lips part slightly. Her daughter was clearly wanting to join in but fighting against her own protective silence. "You know what?" Michael said, sitting on the ground in front of Lily's swing so he could look directly into her eyes. "Sometimes when people are learning to be cloud flyers, they need a little extra magic. Would you like me to share some cloud flying magic with you?" Lily nodded solemnly, completely captivated by this kind stranger who seemed to understand something important about her. Michael reached into his pocket and pulled out a small, smooth stone. "This is a special stone I found by the ocean. When you hold it and make any sound at all, even the tiniest whisper, it amplifies the magic in your voice and helps you fly higher than any swing has ever gone." He placed the stone gently in Lily's small palm, closing her fingers around it carefully. "The stone works best when you close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let whatever sound wants to come out just flow naturally." Jessica watched in amazement as Lily clutched the stone tightly and closed her eyes. For several long moments, the only sounds were Emma's continued whooshing and the gentle creaking of the swing chains. Then, so softly that Jessica almost missed it, came the sound she had been praying to hear for 18 months. Whoosh! It was barely a whisper, fragile as a butterfly's wing, but it was unmistakably Lily's voice. Jessica's hand flew to her mouth as tears sprang to her eyes. Michael's face lit up with genuine joy, as if Lily had just accomplished the most remarkable feat in the world. "Perfect!" Michael exclaimed softly. "That was beautiful cloud flying. I can tell you are a natural." Emboldened by Michael's encouragement and the magic stone in her hand, Lily took a deeper breath and tried again. "Whoosh," she said, a little louder this time, her voice gaining strength and confidence. Emma squealed with delight. "She is doing it. She is flying through the clouds too." For the next few minutes, both girls swung together, making their whooshing sounds and giggling as they imagined themselves soaring through imaginary clouds. Lily's voice grew stronger with each passing moment, as if the simple act of making sound was rebuilding pathways that had been closed for so long. Jessica approached slowly, not wanting to break the spell that Michael had somehow woven around her daughter. "Mama!" Lily called out suddenly, her voice clear and joyful. "Mama, I am flying through clouds. Listen." The word "mama" hit Jessica like a bolt of lightning. She had not heard her daughter's voice say that precious word since before the accident. Tears streamed down her face as she rushed to Lily's swing. "I hear you, sweetheart," Jessica managed to say through her tears. "You sound absolutely beautiful." Michael stood up, giving Jessica and Lily space for their reunion while keeping a gentle eye on both girls. When Jessica looked at him with overwhelming gratitude, he simply smiled and nodded, as if helping children find their voices was the most natural thing in the world. "Thank you," Jessica whispered to Michael. "I do not know how you did that, but you just gave me back my daughter." Michael's expression grew thoughtful. "I did not do anything special." Lily was ready to speak again. She just needed someone to show her that it was safe. Sometimes we all need a little magic to remember who we are. Over the following weeks, Jessica and Michael began meeting regularly at the playground. Emma and Lily had become fast friends, and their children's bond had created a natural connection between the adults as well. Jessica learned that Michael was a music therapist who worked with children who had experienced trauma. He had an intuitive understanding of how to create safe spaces where healing could happen naturally. The magic stone was not really magic, Michael explained to Jessica one afternoon as they watched their daughters play together. But believing in magic is sometimes exactly what we need to take the first brave step toward healing. Lily's recovery was not immediate or complete. She still had quiet days when the weight of her grief made speaking difficult. But with Michael's gentle guidance and Emma's friendship, she began to rebuild her relationship with her own voice. 6 months later, Jessica and Michael sat together at Lily's school music recital, watching their daughters perform a duet. Lily's voice, once lost in silence, now soared clear and confident as she sang about butterflies and sunshine. "You know," Jessica said to Michael as they applauded their children, "I used to think that losing her voice was the worst thing that could have happened to Lily after losing her father." Michael took her hand gently. "And now?" Jessica smiled, watching Lily beam with pride as she took her bow. "Now I understand that sometimes we have to lose our voice before we can discover what we really have to say." As they walked out of the school together, two families who had found each other through their children's friendship and their shared understanding of healing, Jessica reflected on how a chance encounter at a playground had changed everything. Sometimes, she thought, the most powerful magic is simply knowing that someone believes in your ability to fly again. And sometimes, the greatest gift we can give another person is the patience to wait while they remember how to use their wings. The magic stone still sat on Lily's nightstand, a reminder that healing often begins with the smallest act of faith in our own voice and the courage to let it be heard.